The teacher evaluation process has historically been about compliance. What do we have to do and by when? But my belief is that we each spend dozens of hours on the teacher evaluation process. So if it's not actually supporting teachers' growth, then we're wasting a huge amount of time, energy, and money. And most importantly, if we aren't using the evaluation process to support teachers' growth, then we're squandering a key opportunity to support students' growth and whole school improvement. But the big question is, how do we coach as teacher evaluators? A lot of teachers have super justified fear and worry about the teacher evaluation process. So how do we as evaluators create the trust and safety necessary for us to truly support teachers' growth? It's challenging, but it's possible. And I've been doing it for many years. So in today's video, I'm going to share some of my top tips and strategies for how to coach within the teacher evaluation process. Welcome to my channel for leaders who want to lead with love and love to lead. My name is madden-fuoco. I've been evaluating teachers for more than 15 years, and I've also been coaching and training other evaluators for more than 10 years. I love to think about how we can improve our work as teacher evaluators so that we can support teachers' growth so that they can support our students' growth. So I thought about calling this video, Can You Coach Within the Teacher Evaluation Process? Because people ask me this question all the time. And the answer is an emphatic yes. In fact, I think we must coach within the teacher evaluation process, because if we're not, then we're not supporting teachers' growth, and this is what our students most need us to do. Teaching is an extremely complex profession, and none of us as teachers ever arrive at some place where we're all set. We always have to keep growing, improving, and learning new things to meet the needs of our students. And often, it can be incredibly helpful to have a coach who can support us in our efforts to improve as teachers. And in most schools, at least here in the United States, there aren't enough coaches to work with every single teacher. So as evaluators, we have to be able to provide coaching too, or teachers could end up being isolated in their efforts to improve. The foundation of supporting a teacher's growth is to develop a relationship characterized by trust and psychological safety. In Dare to Lead, Brené Brown quotes from Professor Amy Edmondson. Amy Edmondson coined the phrase psychological safety. In her book Teaming, she writes, "Simply put, psychological safety makes it possible to give tough feedback and have difficult conversations without the need to tiptoe around the truth. In psychologically safe environments, people believe that if they make a mistake, others will not penalize or think less of them for it." So what is coaching and what is evaluation, and how do we do both? Douglas Stone and Sheila Heen wrote a book called Thanks for the Feedback: The Art and Science of Receiving Feedback Well. And in this book, they say that we all need 3 types of feedback: appreciation, coaching, and evaluation. Coaching. When you ask your boss for more direction, you're asking for coaching. Coaching is aimed at trying to help someone learn, grow, or change. The focus is on helping the person improve, whether it involves a skill, an idea, knowledge, a particular practice, or that person's appearance or personality. And evaluation. Evaluation tells you where you stand. It's an assessment, ranking, or rating. The challenge that the Thanks for the Feedback authors present is they say that with these 3 types of feedback, people are most likely to receive each as intended if we separate them from each other. But that presents a huge challenge for us as evaluators who want to be able to coach within the evaluation process. In this video, I will share 6 tips and strategies that will enable us all to coach within the evaluation process and also to reconcile these identities as coach and evaluator. Number 1, get clear on your intention. I do a meditation in the morning called Morning Intentions. The meditation teacher, Jess Morey, says, by thinking about our morning intentions, we can reconnect with what's most important to us and think about what we most want for ourselves that day. I think we need to do the same thing with the evaluation process. Historically, many evaluators have dreaded the evaluation process so much that they put it off until right before the deadline, and then they just submit it at the deadline. So if this is your intention, it's very unlikely that you will be a helpful coach. But I know that you became a leader because you want students to have an amazing education. And I know that in order to do that, we have to be supporting their teachers' growth. So if your intention is to support teachers' growth, you have to align your practices with that intention, and you have to use coaching approaches. One of the concrete ways I work on this is I actually wrote down my values and intentions in a document, and I share this with teachers at the beginning of the year. So I will share that document with you in case it's helpful to you about thinking through what are your intentions within the evaluation process. I will include a link to this document in the description below. Number 2, foster a collaborative relationship with the teacher. Historically, many of us have felt like evaluations were done to us instead of with us. But in order to really coach within the evaluation process, we have to work to make it a collaborative process. So for example, we have to collaborate with the teacher to identify ways in which they want to grow and ways in which students most need them to grow. Because if the whole process is totally controlled by us, it's very unlikely that the teacher is going to be invested in working on the feedback that we give them. The same is true when we're talking with a teacher about a challenge they're facing, and we're trying to come up with strategies that might work to address that challenge. Initially, we might come up with a strategy that would work for us as a teacher, but what we actually have to be doing is talking with the teacher and saying, do you think this strategy might work for you in your classroom? Why or why not? Fostering a collaborative relationship like this is essential to coaching within the evaluation process. Number 3, build trust by focusing on strengths. Sometimes as evaluators, we observe a class and we see a bunch of things the teacher needs to do to improve. And sometimes I think we might even tell ourselves as evaluators that we're not doing our jobs unless we're giving teachers a lot of critical feedback. But I want to push you on this because I think it's essential that we use a strengths-based approach. Elena Aguilar wrote about this in her book, Coaching for Equity. She wrote, when we see someone's strengths, we have a more balanced picture because everyone has strengths and we can build on those strengths. I think positive feedback also helps the teacher because it says to them, you should keep doing this specific thing. Also, for any of us as humans, it's really difficult to get better at 10 things simultaneously. So what I try to do when I observe a class is I try to think about 1 or 2 things that I want to ask the teacher questions about or give the teacher feedback on as areas for growth. And to choose these 1 or 2 things, I'm often thinking about what's most highest leverage in terms of impact on students. And sometimes I'm thinking about what could be a quick win where the teacher and students can feel success quickly. Of course, sometimes we observe a class where little to no learning is happening. And if this is the case, we do not want to make up fake positives. But in all other cases, we should use a strengths-based approach. I love what Brené Brown wrote in Dare to Lead. She says she asked her husband, Steve, if he believed that people are doing the best they can with what they have. And he said, I don't think you can ever know for certain, but I do know that my life is better when I work from the assumption that everyone is doing the best they can. Brené Brown also quotes from Ken Blanchard, author of The 1 Minute Manager, who said, catch people doing things right. And Brené Brown adds, it's much more powerful than collecting behaviors that are wrong. This is so important also because this is how we want teachers to work with their students to support their growth. We don't want teachers to pile negative feedback on students. So in our work with teachers, we should model how to support people in growing through their strengths. Number 4, build trust by being crystal clear and transparent about the process. To be a powerful coach, we don't want teachers to be caught off guard or surprised by any aspects of the evaluation process. One really important way to build trust in the process is to not put anything negative into writing in the evaluation system without talking with the teacher first. In my 23 years working in schools, this is the most common reason I see trust breakdown in the evaluation process. When evaluators put something into writing that the teacher doesn't feel like is fair or true. I take this a step further. I tell teachers that I won't put anything critical into writing the first time I see it. What I'll do instead is talk with the teacher about it. We'll make a plan for how to work on it. And then if the issue continues or gets worse, or especially if the teacher doesn't work on it, then I would eventually put it into writing. But if the teacher is working on the issue and is really eager to collaborate in improving on the issue, I find that it's not necessary and it's not helpful to put it into writing in the evaluation system. I record it in my notes so I remember what we discussed. Of course, the exception to this is if I see something in a classroom that's harmful to students. I also think there are many small ways that we can build transparency and clarity in the evaluation process. For example, at the beginning of the year, I create a one-page document that includes every step of the evaluation process for the entire year, with hyperlinks to documents to guide people through every step. So I'll include a link to this in the description below. I also like to share the steps of the post-observation protocol with the teacher, because then we can feel like we're going through the protocol together. Number 5, embody radical candor. I create a full video to go deeper into the radical candor framework because it's amazing. But I think radical candor is really at the heart of being an amazing coach and evaluator. Kim Scott, the creator of the radical candor framework, says that we need to both care personally and challenge directly. If we only care personally but don't challenge directly, we might not be talking with teachers about ways in which they need to grow. On the other hand, if we only challenge directly but don't show a teacher that we care personally and work to build our relationship, it's very unlikely that the teacher is going to be taking our feedback and using it to improve their practice. But if we can build strong relationships that are grounded in care, I think that it really enables us to talk with teachers about any ways in which they need to grow. Number 6, grapple with the complexities and challenges of teaching. Sometimes I see administrators diminish and minimize the complexities and challenges of teaching. And they adopt this mindset of teachers just need to do X, Y, and Z. Brené Brown writes about this in Dare to Lead. She writes, "A brave leader is not someone who can facilitate a flawless discussion on hard topics. A brave leader is someone who says, I see you. I hear you. I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to keep listening and asking questions." We all have the capacity to do that. I think we all have to remember that teaching is beautifully complex work, and there aren't a lot of quick fixes or easy answers. So we have to really enjoy exploring these challenges with teachers, and we can't gloss over the challenges and pretend that they're less significant than they are. Ideally, we all actually keep teaching so that we truly stay in touch with the challenges and complexities of teaching. I want to close with a quote from Elena Aguilar's book, Coaching for Equity. She includes a quote from Lilla Watson, Indigenous Australian activist, artist, and academic. "If you have come to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together." Thank you so much for watching this video. If this video is helpful, I have lots of other videos on my channel about how we can be amazing teacher evaluators. Two in particular that relate to this video. One is a video I made about what teacher evaluators can learn from Brené Brown's motto of clear is kind, unclear is unkind. And also I have another video called Do People Get Upset When They Read What You Wrote in an Evaluation, which I think also has some really important insights to building trust within the evaluation process. So if this video is helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And as always, if you can share this video with any of your teacher and leader friends, I would love it, because my mission with this channel is to support leaders' growth so they can support teachers' growth so they can support our students' growth. And remember, if you lead with love, you will love to lead.